What is up, y'all? We are here. We are back. We have survived another season. And here we go. We are waiting for, the homie to hop on. Because we gonna get it. We gonna get it. Here. Oh, it's Mercury retrograde, though, so we're just gonna hope for the best.
What's up?
What's up? It is Sunday, December 17th, 2023. Welcome to the Zodiac Chat Line. I'm your host, Tanae, and of course, as always, I got my girl chat. Can't sing with me. What's up, girl?
What's up, baby? How are you?
I'm here, and I'm grateful that I'm here. How are you?
I'm good. I'm here. I'm grateful I'm here. I would like to start before we dive in, issuing an apology to you and to Janelle Monáe. I felt bad last week that I did not immediately stop and pivot when you were using they them pronouns, and afterward I was reflecting on it. I felt it was disrespectful, so I just wanted to start out by apologizing.
You know what? I thank you. I think that you are such a beautiful human, and I know there was no malintent with it. But I think that is people, it is not that hard to just acknowledge people refer how they want to be referred to. Period.
Right.
Very simple.
I appreciate that I did not have a malicious intent with that, but it doesn't really change the effect, my intent. And if you look like this, the very least you can do is acknowledge when you fuck up. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Thank you. We'll take those reparations for 200, Alex. So, before we get into that, let's just, quickly, just for the people, last week was the Sagittarius new moon, so we did enjoy that. But the next day, Mercury took a little slide and said, let's go back, and retrograde itself in Capricorn. And when I tell you Mercury has been the most retrogradingest ever this week, I have multiple examples in my work, and I'm like, well, it'll be okay. It'll be
okay. It has been the same for me as far as just fuckery all over the place at work. And it's kind of like Mercury in Capricorn is a reminder that Mercury already doesn't want to be in Capricorn. And so when it retrogrades in Capricorn, it really decides to fuck your shit up. And we're going to be playing around with Mercury in Capricorn for the next month and a half. So buckle in.
So the good part, I think, about this Mercury retrograde in Capricorn, it actually takes us into the beginning of the year till January 1st, when Mercury will be going direct again. But I think it's great this time of year, as reflective as I think all of us become. This is a really good time to be reflective on your words and how you have been communicating and what you've been communicating about. And I also like that all of this exposure of folks is happening. I mean, exposure. We have seen Diddy get blown up, and well, fuck him. And George Santos use his platform to be the fabulous queen that he is, and going on all the shows and just look at my time when I played an elected official, because that's exactly what the energy is giving. Former disgraced mayor of New York, Giuliani, paying these Georgia election workers $148 million. Thank you, sir. Again, more reparations. We'll take them. And, I just... Exactly.
We're
Because
we're very much in find out season till. Like the fucking around has been incessant.
and they kept
And
doing it. Justice. I
they,
don't know about that Carrie dog girl. No, this is Caramel. I don't even
yeah,
think justice can ever be sought in situations like this because most of the offenses are so egregious that I
yeah.
don't even think justice warrants like equal balance. Another random somebody who fucked around and find out. I don't even know. This was literally just found this out. Did not know this happened in 2019. Woman named Hannah Payne has just been convicted on 70 felony counts for unaliving a motorist, a black male motorist that was having an health issue and caused an accident and kind of ran. And she pursued him, cut him off, ran up to his car and shot him in his car. And she was convicted on 7 counts. And she was saying it was self-defense. It was just like the wildest shit ever for me is to be like, you had so many opportunities to just stop and think and be like, what the fuck am I doing? And when
That
she's
bit of
calling
it.
911 and they say, don't follow the man. Now she is a phone caller lady. So, maybe she just thought he would be okay with it. I'm not running up to nobody for no reason. You caused an accident. You could have just helped him instead of just so.
You also could have just been like, maybe that's not somebody I need to mess around with. I'm gonna call my insurance company. Like, it's just not even on you. Like, wow.
Also, I did see somebody bring up the Moms of Liberty lady in Florida, who is the school board president of Sarasota, and she was out here with her husband doing threesomes, and people want her to be kicked off the board for that. But one guy stood up and was like, "No, you should be kicked off because you're not doing your job." But it's so interesting that all of these people that we are watching are not doing their job and there's no consequence. But if you or I not to do our job, guess who wouldn't have a job? I know I wouldn't. My employer would be like, why are we paying you?
Right.
Yeah, it's just I am with you. This is girl, the tea and the popcorn is hot and spicy.
It really
Um
is. And looking
so
ahead, it's just gonna
get
continue to
ready,
sizzle.
y'all. Oh yeah, you just need to at this point like stay prepared for every bit of fuckery possible and be vocal. Don't shut up. Like speak
Mm-hmm.
out when you see some fuck up shit.
Yeah.
Especially if you are not a person of color. You need to speak the fuck up because the world is built for you to succeed and not for other people to succeed. That is just a fact. And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't, I don't see color. Fuck you. Yes, you do. You just don't see how color doesn't affect you or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. But no. No.
And it's our problem. It's our thing. It's our thing that we started. And like we have now, are benefiting from a system that was set up, as you said, for us to succeed and for us to be powerful. And therefore, our words carry fucking weight. Speak up. Like, it's crazy out here. It really is. And we've got a big fat full moon in Cancer coming up next week. So mind you all, we're not even into Capricorn season yet. We would
No.
normally be doing the show next week, the first Sunday of the season, but it's Christmas Eve and you're not going to be here. You're going to be doing other shit. So that's cool. But the day after Christmas, we've got a full moon in Cancer, of course. Cancer is the moon's home sign and the sign of mothers and feelings and your home and nostalgia. So I expect, big us to all be in our big feelings and, just try to roll with it,
Especially when you're going home for the holiday season and can be triggered.
Yeah.
And some people I think go home and their views are very different than their parental views. And with so much going on, you know, still take time out to like set your boundaries and care, because no one has the right to disrespect. They don't have to agree with you, but they don't have the right to disrespect you, even if they're your parents.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just don't feel comfortable, you got to stand up for yourself, because you know they have a certain view of life and they were raised in a very different time. Like, I don't think they can comprehend what it's like for us to be growing up, being adults, and just affording life during these times. And so I would just say, make sure you nurture yourself. Before I bring on our guest, small trigger warning for anybody that is sensitive to the topics of reproductive systems, women, or pregnancy. But I just want to send some extra love to two would-be mothers who tragically had to make the very difficult decision, which I really want to emphasize, the very difficult decision to either have to terminate their pregnancies or have their pregnancies terminated against their own will. The first one was in Texas. Her name is Kate Cox. She sued her state and won in the lower court. But of course, we love Attorney General with male genitalia who like to make rules. And Ken Cox went to the Supreme Court, had that overturned. And so she had to flee her state in order to have this abortion. She has what they call trisomy 18, which is a deadly genetic condition that will most likely result in her child being born stillborn or die shortly after. Nobody wants to make that decision, but her life and her health were in danger. And we are now making rules to make this person continue to suffer, because that's just what men want, I guess. But the second person is in Ohio, and this woman, Brittany Watts, miscarried in her bathroom and disposed of her fetus outside, went to the hospital, and is now being arrested on felony charges of abuse of a corpse for how she handled the remains of her miscarried fetus. I know both of these stories are insane. And it's like, what? Are you serious? But I want you guys to understand, this is actually the world that we are living in post Roe versus Wade. This is where we're at. And this is what so many women were arguing and fighting for prior to this ruling coming out. And so now these are two cases of women who I'm sure wanted both of their babies to be healthy and carried to full term. I don't know what mom does not. That's a lot of energy and time to put into yourselves to grow a whole nother fucking human and then be completely destroyed either by knowing that this human will not survive or by miscarrying. 30% of pregnancies end in miscarriage in the first trimester. That's a lot. And for somebody to put rules and regulations on a uterus when you don't have one is fucking bullshit. And that's my fucking soapbox. Okay. Just have to say that. Cassie knew I was coming. I told her, I was like, no, right now. Both of these just hit my heart and I don't like how I feel. Okay. But other than that.
It's, I saw an interview with a lawmaker in Montana, I want to say, somewhere out west, an old white man who voted for some terrible abortion ban in his state, and then talked about how many women came up to him later explaining these horrible medical consequences that they suffered, due to not being able to get the treatment they needed and not being able to get reproductive treatment, based on this law. And he's like, I'll be honest, I didn't know until then it was such a big deal. Why did you vote for it then?
But that just proves you're not even taking the time to educate yourself.
Exactly.
But I'm just going to rule because that's what everybody's telling me to do. Man, get the fuck out of here. Ladies, it is time. Listen, now I'm gonna be 1,000 with y'all because that's how I keep it. I don't fuck with dudes like that. That's not my thing. I love women, so that's just not my thing. But I'm just saying, I would suggest that y'all let them know that like willful neglect of their deposits and not really being responsible for them, I would hold off. I'd be like, you know what, bruh, it's cool until we have equal rights about our own autonomy. Nope, you gonna keep your stuff over there. But that's just me because I don't really get down like that. But I mean, I'm just saying, you would be surprised what a could do. A
little coochie strike,
like what Janelle Monáe said.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
But we're excited to have these lovely Capricorn women that we're about to bring on our show. First, I have a dear person who I recently met because through her husband, who, side note, is also a Capricorn. But she is a former academic who is now a chocolate sales slash spokesperson. Please welcome Jen to the show. Thank you. Yay. She should be hopping on in just a minute. And then Cassie, who you got? Who you got?
So our guest tonight is an old dear friend. I mean, old as in we have been friends for a long time, though it's strange because she's still only 21. So I don't know how that maths, but a literary queen, a reformed Catholic who's been exploring her spiritual side, and just an all-around fabulous person. And that's Ashton. Oh, hey! Ashton made it on first. No, Ashton has evolved into the most Capricorn to ever Capricorn, and so she is just always right on time.
I think Jen, we're working with Jen. I know she's here, so we're going to keep inviting her until it works.
We're Mercury retrograding in this bitch.
It keeps saying she's unable, but
of course it does.
We're going to keep trying until we can get it worked out. Sorry, had to just double check. Oh my God. Hey. Oh, wait, we know you.
Yes,
hey,
Chelsea and Ashton. It's all coming full circle.
Chelsea and I work together.
Yes.
Oh, wow. And my world.
Such a blessing. Ashton and I work in completely different fields. Ashton, of course, works for the banking system because she's a fucking Capricorn. But we so happen to get put in the same office building. So now I can go down and visit Ashton and Chelsea if I have a coffee break or need to just run away from my coworkers for a minute or two.
You know what's crazy is that we had this conversation. I was like, listen here, girl, Mercury be doing some weird shit. So I'm just let's hope. It keeps saying she's unable to join, and I'm not really.
Jen, have you tried the Microsoft 98 of leaving, turning it off, and coming back in, turning it on again, and coming back in? That's the only tech support tip I have. But it works about 82% of the time. So, it's worth a try.
Whenever I call my IT department, that's what they always say. Did you turn it off?
Have you turned it off? Turn it back on?
No.
Turn it off, count to 30, turn it back on again, see what happens.
Yeah. I'm like, what's gonna happen?
Well, let's dive. I'm gonna dive into Ashton to your big three. Yes, the old AOL special. That's right, Rachel. Well, we're waiting for Jen to join us. We're going to talk a little bit about your big three. So Ashton is a Capricorn sun, of course. We suspect, well, no, we pretty much know that her moon sign is Leo. And the suspect is Aquarius rising, because you weren't 100% sure on your birth time when we last talked. So I estimated it. And you also have a Taurus North node. So Capricorn, Leo, Aquarius, that's interesting because Capricorn's probably the most stubborn of all of the cardinal signs because it's cardinal Earth and it just does what you want. And then you've got two incredibly stubborn
other places. We knew it. We knew it. I just had faith in the universe and you, Jen. Oh my God, guys.
My computer was not doing it. So I was finally just like, let me just try my phone, see what's up. So I have my husband I was like, I need my charger. I'm at 10%. Please go get that. Come back. And so here we are.
Shout out to Lee. We love your invitations. Hey, Jen. Okay, guys, this is Jen. Okay, Cassie, if you want to run that down, and then we can run down Jen's big three, and then we can. Girl, what? This is the best. I'm here for all of this.
Nope, we're fine. We're fine. Everything's fine. No, all I was saying is those are two very stubborn other major placements that you've got going there. And interesting
Yeah.
because Capricorn, your Capricorn sun and Aquarius rising both are like, let me not, be too loud and boisterous and wild and out there. I'm gonna just, keep it cool and collected. Meanwhile, your Leo moon's like, hello, let me be the center of attention. And so there's some, possible reconciling that has to be done. Little introvert time, a little extrovert time. And I know because we're friends and we've talked that over the years, the balance has gone more toward the introvert time and less
Yeah.
the extrovert time.
Yeah.
But I think that's also just a byproduct of aging.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely used to be more of that. I mean, that wild child. I talk about like past life with my coworkers and they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah, we're not gonna get too detailed, but yeah.
That was another person. Jen, on the other hand, has a beautiful blend of energies with a Capricorn sun, a Virgo moon, and a Cancer rising, just like me. And actually, Jen is a Capricorn. Remember the last person we had with all this Capricorn energy?
Mm-hmm.
Jen is one of those people, 6 or 7 placements in Capricorn. So, she said,
Isn't like overachieving one of our characteristics, right? I'm just
you
like
already know.
gunning for the top.
And most in her 7th and 6th house. So yeah, right. And Jen has actually a north node in Aquarius, and her south node in Leo. And for those of you, we're going to give an overview because I'm sure Jen's like, what is she talking about? The south node is what we find your soul and your spirit to come in that type of energy. And it's all of the tools and lessons that you come in with. So to come in with either the Scorpio energy that Ashton does, which is intense and passionate and very detective-like, and the Leo energy that Jen comes in with, which is very much like, I am confident in myself. I'm here to do all of this. And you have to go to the opposite of those energies. So with Ashton going to Taurus, a little more grounded, a lot more material, and a lot less depths of emotion in that kind of way. And then, Jen, you're lucky. You have to end up how I am, an Aquarius, very carefree and being like, fuck it, life is going to work itself out. So I think that having both of you on the cap ends of, pun intended, of Capricorn, with Ashton being born in the first week of Capricorn, the week of the ruler, and Jen, you being born in the last week, the week of dominance, we find some happy medium with all of those energies. So it is so great to have you guys on the show. And today we love that Capricorns like money, but more than money, we like that Capricorns understand value. And so our definition of value is the importance, worth, or usefulness of something, worth and usefulness or importance of the possessor, a person's principle or standards of behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life. So I'm going to start with the first question. And Jen, since I'm starting with the first question, you get to answer it first. How do you determine the value of something?
So value to me is kind of dependent on how much it contributes to someone's life. So I like to think of that like collectively, like the collective value of something is how much good it does for like the greatest amount of people. With things for me personally, it's kind of a similar framework of things that I find value in are ones that bring me joy and bring me peace, and the kind of greatest amount of that is accessible and that's provided to me from whatever it is, I think indicates its value from my perspective.
Ashton, it is now your turn.
So yeah, for me, like value to me equals quality. So like if it is a quality of material, if it is quality of time, then it has value. If so like I'd rather spend $100 on a nice pair of jeans than have to buy a cheap pair and then have to replace them over and over again. So it's like that kind of like, is there quality there? And I, of course, lean towards the monetary because that's just where my brain always goes.
Thank
No
your brain, right?
judgment.
You have to.
Yeah, no judgment, only respect.
It's hard for me because, of course, I stay in my feelings, and you can attach emotional value to things that like aren't inherently valuable. And like for me, moving has been helpful in culling like my hoarder tendencies, because at a certain point you just can't take all that shit like with you, you know? And so, okay, I'm gonna get rid of all these photocopied journal articles that I kept from college that I thought were interesting and I might go back to one day, you know? So for me, how I determine if something has value is like, is it irreplaceable? You know, like a photograph or a ticket stub or something like that. Does it take up an enormous amount of space? Because honestly, stuff that takes up too much space like puts mental pressure on me, and I don't like over cluttered space. So if something's just like bulky, I'm like, get it out. And yeah, I think quality is a good one too as I get older, especially when it's stuff that's okay. So I'm, excluding things that are emotionally fraught for me. Then I'm just getting into like my clothes and my household items and stuff. It's like, okay, can it last a long time? Or conversely, is it so broke that I have to replace it now? Or can I just like ride it till the wheels fall off? Because money is important to me and I don't like to spend it willy-nilly. So, I've got little kids. I'm like, holding on to my shitty furniture until they grow out of drawing on stuff with markers. Like, why would I? Because I won't buy a shitty couch again. I'm going to buy a nice one. Like, value. How about you, Tanae?
Okay, so I didn't think about emotions. When you said that, I was like, oh, I guess. Like that's what I was like.
The Aquarius didn't factor emotions.
Girl, I ain't trying to. Why you down, friend? Oh, loud. No, just kidding. Everybody knows I have a ton of emotions. I just don't always. Anyways, honestly, I determine the value of something if it excites me, if it makes me feel good. Like that's my determination. Is like how it makes me feel. But but more or less like if I'm excited about it, it's valuable. And if it feel like touches me in some sort of way, but not necessarily. I think quality is definitely a great way to think about value. But sometimes I think like it's not even about the quality because sometimes it's a sentimental value. So I think it just has to move me in some sort of way, but not necessarily emotionally or value, Anyways, next question.
All right. Coming to me. So Ashton, it's going to you first. Coming from me, going to you first. Who or what has influenced your values?
Oh. Probably a lot of my mom, because like when I was growing up, my dad traveled a lot and so she had to take me everywhere and I was doing all of the things all of the time. So, that's kind of where my love of books came from. She also always instilled in that, what was it? When boys started being a thing, she was like, boys are a dime a dozen, your friends are going to be forever. So, always like saying like the boys will come and go, but your friendships are what's most important. And just kind of instilling that, value of the people in your life and how to treat them.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Jen?
I similarly would say my parents kind of had like the baseline influence on it. I also grew up in a household with a brother and a sister who were 7 and 8 years older than I was. So they were mature enough, right, as I was kind of learning how to navigate the world, to be there as this like, little cluster to help guide me and instill those values in me. And then there also was, she started as my babysitter, partially to kind of like protect me from older siblings a little bit sometimes. You know how it gets. But turned into like a family friend who we are still in contact with, 30 years on at this point. And so while my parents were at work when I was little enough, she would kind of tend to me and care for me and, look after me during the day. And growing up with her as kind of an external parent figure of like, she wasn't directly my parent, so I didn't have the same like restrictions on my interactions with her, I guess, right? You have this certain way of behaving and being deferential, like as a child to your parent, whereas she was like an adult, but a friend and kind of a support system. So I think she probably had the greatest influence on like my values and how I have come to be this person now.
Okay. I love that answer. I think a lot of my like youth, I was very fortunate to be around that. I had my great grandmother around when I was younger, and my grandmother and my mother. So I was raised around very strong Black women. And so a lot of my values were very much instilled of like how I am supposed to function in society as a Black woman. And so all of that came from them. My godmother as well. However, I think because I'm queer, those values were something I had to find for myself, and like balance that out, because my family could not teach me how to be queer. Not that you can be taught to be queer. I'm just saying it's not a choice. But the values that I have within myself, are just basic human kindness and things that I saw and how I want to be as a person. But just initially, I think it was definitely my mom, my grandma, my great grandma, my godmother. Like those women instilled how I should function as a Black woman in what we call America.
I think really the death of my father is the thing that most influenced my values, because first of all, going through a big loss like that at an early age just makes you really value life in general. And you just like, I just remember realizing like, oh, like this isn't like a story. There's like not an ending. You're just done one day, And then also everything that happened after that with the rest of my family really influenced, like watching my mom step up and go from being a stay-at-home mom to the sole breadwinner and a widow in her 30s, and like just the sacrifices she made was like, so I'll never, forget that. I'll never be able to make that up to her. And it had a huge influence on me. And also even like, my grandparents were alive when my dad died. He was young, and watching how terribly it affected them made me realize that like you can't live in the past too. And that had a big influence on my values. And so, yeah, it was just kind of like that one event exposed so many other things and just changed the trajectory of my life forever. And what I think of and what I give thanks for every day is all kind of wrapped up in that, I think.
That was a good one, Cassie. Okay. Jen, back to you. How does something lose its value for you?
Oh.
Okay, first of all, that was
that reaction.
That was a Capricorn moment, girl. Think about it.
Let me think about it.
That's so tricky. So I'm kind of stuck between like conceptualizing value in a material way. And I will confess, so Cassie, you mentioned like just boxes of old, articles you'd printed out and highlighted and term papers, and like so much. There's the least amount of those that have ever been in this house or any house, but like I have minor hoarding tendencies, and also like a frugality that is problematic sometimes. So like I I will drive a car till the wheels fall off, like you said, sort of thing. So in terms of value, I think material wise, it's like when something no longer serves the function it was designed for. And as I'm saying that out loud, like kind of applies to like relationships and people too, right? You come into relationships and you bond with people for a particular purpose, right? They enrich your life in whatever capacity. And so that obviously can like develop and change, right? Their value can shift over time in your relationship with them. But once you are no longer contributing to one another, to me, I think that diminishes the value itself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like kind of on the same page with that. Like, if it's broken, I'm not gonna fix it. If it's broken, I mean, to a certain extent, but like, yeah, like as material wise, I do have a bit of a hoarding tendency if it has like emotional value, but if it's like, but sometimes I get into those instances where I'm just like, this doesn't, I don't need this anymore. Somebody else might need this more. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. And so the human part of it, I think there's that bit of like, if I lose that connection, that trust in another person, if I feel betrayed by another person, or if I feel like I have a friendship in this, but they're using me for something, but they're not really reciprocating that friendship, then there's no value there anymore. So there's no sense talking. Cut them off. Done.
Capricorn.
I mean, with a straight face.
Right.
Cass?
I'm just
Oh.
with a list.
She's got a spreadsheet.
Girl.
Not invited to dinner anymore.
So Jen, you hit on something interesting too in your response that made me think about how I wanted to answer this regarding frugality, because I'm with you there too. And I have a tendency to look at stuff and just be like, is there really nothing else I could do with this?
Right.
Like,
I could transform this into something else, find some other value.
Like,
yeah.
God forbid, like, is there no other scenario where I might buy this? Because nothing pisses me off more than repurchasing something that I got rid of for some fucking reason. And I'm like, I've done it enough times where I really have to question it. Like every time I'm getting rid of something, like, is there absolutely no way? So for me, I think, yeah, if I have given something, especially if I have given something a second life somehow, you know, and it gets to that, now we're back around, I'm like, okay, I already like repurposed you one time. Like now I can't think of anything else, and you know, you've lost your value to me. And then conversely, I guess, you know, because I'm you know, ruled by my emotions, it's like if something is starts giving me bad feelings, you know, then I'm like, I don't want this thing that represents something negative or recalls a negative time in my life or a negative person. Like somebody else might need this, or maybe it just needs to get buried under a pile of salt in my backyard. I don't know what, it just depends on the object. So what do you think today?
You know, you all hit on some very interesting things, especially Ashton down there with the reciprocity thing, because everybody know I live in a life of like, if I'm not feeling you, it's okay. we don't have to, like, but I think for me, if something loses its value, if it no longer excites me or I no longer want it around, and that's instinct for me. Like I feel like I have to go. I've learned that going with my instincts on how I respond to something is exactly what I need to do. I don't know if a lot of things lose value because I am a sentimental hoarder. But Yeah, I'm very much a sentimental hoarder. So I don't know if they lose value. They may lose importance. But I don't necessarily know if the things lose value. I think that especially what Ashton said, like relationships and like you said, Jen, relationships that have run its course and no longer of, and I think mutual value. I feel like it has to be mutually valuable for both of us. So even if that person feels it, if I don't feel it, or if they don't feel it, I can't take that. I mean, it much as it hurts, and I don't want to take it personally. It's just like, if they don't feel the value in this connection, then I have to accept that and move on, because why should I hold somebody back from something that's not really how they're feeling it. So, I think we all know when something loses value and we just allow it to leave or remove
right.
it,
Flipping that though, Ashton, start with you. What makes you feel valued?
Probably when people ask for my help.
Oh.
Like, because it's like they trust that I have an answer or can find an answer. That they have, like, they're trusting me to come be with them when they're vulnerable, things like that. Or even if it's something as simple as, do you have the information? I'm like, yeah, I do.
My receipts?
Yeah. I have a coworker who, we had some new hires, and someone asked a question, and I was like, here's your answer, here's the document, and he just commented Ashton with documents every time, and I was like, every time I'm like, I have the answer, and here's where you can find it next time.
So don't come to me.
Yeah. But just, I think it's that, and like people, if someone just wants to spend time, be around me, like that makes me feel like you want to be in my presence, so that feels really nice, and I like that. That makes me feel valued.
Oh yeah. Jen, what about you?
Yeah, I can't say ditto, but that was an excellent answer. So I think just kind of going back to Tanae, what you were saying, and I had discussed kind of like contributing to others. I think feeling valued comes from people wanting to invest in you, right? To some extent, whether that's like Andrea said about like spending time together, just sending you a text message, like doing something that acknowledges your existence in their life. And I say that as someone who is guilty of letting a text message sit for like 2 weeks, right? Because we have those friendships, like I love you dearly so much, but also I'm a terrible communicator sometimes, but I'll check in with you in a bit. But just having that kind of reciprocity and that contribution from others indicates that like they see value in you. And that just like makes me feel so full and grateful.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Gosh, I don't want to admit this out loud. I know, right?
It's just the four of us.
Bill.
Fine, don't worry about it.
I know, right? It's just the four of us and, the 8 people that might be watching. Honestly, what makes me feel valued is people's responses to my presence in their life. And I've had some wonderful things said to me, which is like, I'm like, oh, you really feel that way? Even though I know I'm the shit, but still, it's nice to hear it. Yes, I have an ego, but it's calm. But it's nice to hear it, that you have made an impact. I think that's really was like, if I've made an impact on somebody's life, even if the interaction might have been negative, and I don't think that it always has to be positive for you to have an impact on somebody's life. And I think you can have a positive impact sometimes with some sort of negative interaction because either you and that person learn, but it is very much like I feel valued when I feel that somebody cares that I'm around and I Ashton, I think I second that. Like, I value quality time and I value spending time. And if I want to be in your presence and you want to be in mine, that's a plus. If you don't want to spend time with me, you're missing out. but that's my answer.
Man, you guys like, yeah, hit on so many great things. I can't, the only thing I can think of to add for myself personally is, and this is pretty specific to like my marriage and family mostly, is like somebody doing something that I would normally do makes me feel valued, because that is like you're being seen, and your work and your contributions are being seen. But I agree with all of you in so much as like the reciprocity in relationships, I think, is really where I feel value, and I extend that to work too. You know, I will do what I'm told and try and do it better and try and do the best I can. And I'm really thankful the job I have now. I get, you know, people who are in positions above me coming back to me, thankful for that, or, you know, wanting to bring me into this room and talk to me about this, and, you know, let's hear your take on this. Like, that all feels it. And then eventually I get to take those into conversations where they can put it into my bank account as money. And then I see it. And then it's like value on both sides. Yeah. So that's what makes me feel valued. Raises.
Listen, dollar signs. That's the language I speak to, girl.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, ladies, we have one more lovely question for you. What is your most valued possession, and how did you assess that, Jen?
So my gut instinct, and
yes,
this is I mean, this is indicative of me as a person too, is to say my cats. We'll take a beat. So how
he said multiple, by the way, y'all.
How I assessed that. So I felt weird categorizing them as like possessions, but I mean, you know, they are. And I love them dearly. And so, you know, we were just talking about like reciprocity and contributing to each other's lives, and like, they ain't having a life without me. So there you go. But also they feed so much into my own. And it really is nice to just like have someone depend on you to some extent, but also to provide such like I said earlier, like joy to your life. And, you know, I was thinking about like, if the house is on fire and I had to grab a thing and take it with me, well, like, of course the cats, they have to. So yeah, I would say those are my my most valued possessions.
I love it.
Yeah, because the gift that keeps on giving, generally, and will destroy your couch, but also like cuddle with you. So
yeah.
Your cats sound nice. Mine doesn't cuddle. He's mean.
It happens.
George.
You know?
He's cool. He's cool. He's nice to the dog. So, for me, my like immediate thought was my books. I have going to have again a library in my basement. I have my own little space. And so I'm like rebuilding my collection because I had to get rid of a lot of it a couple years ago because we had a house fire. And my little library was in my basement, and they had flooded the house basically when they hosed down the kitchen. So I had to throw like my entire collection away. And so I've been slowly rebuilding that. But then like outside of that too is like kind of thinking on it was like my home really, because it represents more than like just my house. Like, because my husband and I have been together 15 years now since we started dating. I know. We've been friends for 20 years, Cassie.
That's crazy.
I know.
People.
I'm sorry.
We were only 6 when we met.
Yeah.
And Ashton was a child bride. Moving on.
Anyway, just because we quit drinking. I saved up money. My husband started his own business, so I had to. We couldn't use his income when we came time to buy a house, so I never thought I would be at a place in my life where it would be my name on the mortgage and just my name. A year after that, I bought my own car for the first time, and it's my car note. Um, and it's just like it's from who I was before, like 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, is like completely different. And like a lot of that change happened when we set foot into our new home. Like it's one of the first places my husband ever felt like he had roots. Um, and we've grown so much together, like as a couple, and gone through so much here in this house. So yeah, I think that's one of my most valued possessions at the moment.
Ooh, look at that balance of the Capricorn Cancer
And
energy.
the's a lot of equity in it right now in the house. I'm working on them, so,
Again,
you know,
that dollar
Look at her.
sign, you know.
She was like, and money. All right, Cassie. Or is it me?
So, let the Capricorn give you all the great reasons why their house is their most valuable possession. I'm about to tell you about how I have hand-typed like family genealogy history that came to me via my mom, who inherited it from her grandmother. And it's an incredible, like, it traces one of my family lines back to England in the 1600s. And I have a couple of handwritten letters that are about 140 years old that belong to my like fourth great grandfather. And they're incredible records, and I have spent a lot of time doing ancestral work this past year, and I have always like intuitively done ancestral work without like knowing that's what I was doing, because I'm a Cancer. And it makes me feel really connected to the life I have, and really grateful for the sacrifices that people before me made so that I could exist. And I love the thought that I'll be able to give that to my kids, and they can see it written down somewhere. And it's, something that for a myriad of reasons, many people won't have access to or can't access. So I treasure it.
I love that.
Tanae, what about you?
Man, y'all had some good answers. So for me, it's like a little grouping of things. It would be my altar, because it has all of my passed on loved ones, along with photos of my mom, because my mom has passed away over 2 decades ago. And my astrology books and tarot cards. Like, those are all like those are what's my prized possessions in these moments. So yeah, I need to just gather them in a quick way, because like Ashton, you made me think like, how fast can I get this shit out of here? But yeah, that would be my answer. Yeah, the photos, and so I think that's probably most likely what I feel. So on that note, ladies, thank you so much. Now is your opportunity to let people know if you want them to stalk you. Sorry, just kidding. Joking.
Don't.
If they want you to, if you want them to follow you, or you want to promote anything, Jen, take it away.
Here I go. You're welcome to follow. You're welcome to follow me on Instagram. My handle is Mr. Mr.Spookerson, which is a nickname for one of my cats, because again, here we are. This is who I am. I can't help it. But I admittedly rarely post on Instagram, so more worthwhile and valuable is following probably the chocolate company that I work for. And you can get to see a bunch of the cool shit that we do behind the scenes at the factory where I work, and at the shop as well. We are in Atlanta. That is us, Chocolatl.
Yeah.
XOCOLATL chocolate. That's our Instagram handle as well. So yeah, follow me kind of tangentially over there.
It's amazing chocolate one. And other side note, Jen has a couple of black cats. But anyways,
Sure.
yeah, multiple, and they're adorable. Ashton.
My Instagram is Muggle May. It's private, maybe I'll add you back. I don't know. It used to be public for a while, but then because like people that I had to cut off, everything got private. But I also have a which I've been wanting to get back into anyway, so this is a good impetus to do that. Instagram called Biblioflowers. It's where I was and should start doing again, posting books that I read, and the awful reviews that are usually like, loved it. And that's it. That's what I say about every book that I read. It was amazing. You should read it. I'm not going to tell you anything about it because I can't remember. I'm done with it now. And then I also make paper flowers, flowers out of like book pages. So that's why the biblio flower, because bibliophile is somebody who like loves books. So I'm trying to get back into that again. They are
clever.
I made my wedding bouquet was all pages from Harry Potter.
Oh,
Yeah.
Listen, Ashton, I love you even more. That's awesome.
So yeah,
well,
Biblioflowers is the main one.
What was it?
It's at Biblioflowers.
At Biblioflowers. And Jen, can you pronounce the chocolate place again? Because I don't want to mess it up.
it's Chocolatl.
Chocolatl. It is local. They have great flavors, seasonal flavors. It's very unique. It's very artisanal. But it is some great chocolate. So Jen, Ashton, we were so blessed to have you here. Thank you so much. We appreciate you taking your Sunday. We're going to kick you out. You can go to sleep now
with love.
All of our bedtime.
A gentleman.
And we will see you sooner than later. Bye.
Thank you guys
Thanks so much, y'all.
Thank you.
Couple Capricorns spending a late night, that's a rarity to get two of them out past 8 p.m. So
listen, that was good.
Yeah.
But of course we kept hearing money and the contribution.
I was surprised how much we heard relationships though. And, there was definitely acknowledgement of emotionality. Cancer's not going to be your sister sign. And you don't have any emotions.
Plus, they were Capricorn women, so
exactly,
we know they're top tier.
Capricorn women are top tier. I was thinking about this today, and it's like the exact opposite is Cancer men. Sorry, you are low vibrational.
But all facts, okay? So hate us
with the exception of John Hall. John Hall, I love you, but truly,
hate us if you want to. We stand on that, okay?
Yeah, you're the only one.
Girl, I stand on a Cancer man being trash. Yeah. But anyways.
But on to some people who are not trash. What Capricorn celebrities shall we speak of?
I'm gonna work my way up, okay? So this first Capricorn queen, I met her from a TV show called 227. If you are old enough, you will know, but I mean, it was a while ago. And she played the daughter. And then she went on to voice Huey and Riley in The Boondocks, written by Aaron McGruder. She was also in the Watchmen movie as Sister Knight. And also most recently in the movie The Harder They Fall. That is the lovely Regina King. If you do not know her, if you've not seen her work, I highly recommend you go watch one of those things.
Log off right now and go watch Boondocks. Seriously.
All of those things. And also just as a side note, continuing to send her love, her son did take his own life, I believe, like a year or so ago. And so I'm sure that is, losing a child in that way is nothing short of just devastating. So continuing to show her love. But I celebrate her as a Capricorn goddess queen because she just stays doing amazing, amazing work. And I love that. I love that. I want 227 like me on cake. Thank you.
Sagittarius.
Listen.
Out to play.
Also, side note, I think it said Chelsea Marie said her ex was a Cancer. Girl, that is never girl, don't do that to yourself. But anyway.
Keep him an ex. It's too much. Okay, so I will check in first with a young, born in the 2000s, goddess bless her, queen. She is a rapper. She's from Alabama. She stays in her bag. She's having a big moment right now. Her name is Flo Millie. I have been a fan since I first heard In the Party, which was one of her kind of early hits. Literally, she's 22, I think 21, 22, but she's been around for like 6 years. I mean, because she's a Capricorn and she got started grinding when she was 16 years old. But like, I love, she and somebody else I'll talk about later. A lot of first of all, there's the connection to her home, and she never like shies away from the fact that she's from Alabama, but reps it hard. Good for you, girl. There's a line in one of her songs where she talks about, I came up from napkins and now I get money from rapping. I get the front and the back end. I write the shit off on my taxes. And I was like, fucking right you do, Capricorn. Because you have bars, you've been doing the shit, you've been putting the work in, and I'm a big fan of hers. She's got a lot of really fun bops, so go check her out, stream her now, buy her songs on iTunes because they're good.
See, y'all know Cassie stay at the cookout because she loves her some rappers. She wasn't ready for that one. It's okay, girl. Anyway, okay, so the next Capricorn celeb I'm gonna check in with hasn't even gone to high school yet. But you know what? This lovely lady wanted to do one show on her mama's $1 billion tour. Her mama is Beyonce. But anyway, she wanted to do one show and ended up doing all the damn shows because Blue Ivy Carter is the Capricorn queen of all queens, already got a Grammy. I think she had one when she was like 6. But she performed. I remember watching she was a shock. She came out and everybody screamed. They were like, oh my God, Blue Ivy is performing on stage, Renaissance with the mom. Like, love the mother-daughter moment. And everybody tried to talk mad shit about this little girl's first performance. I'm like, first of all, she's 11 in front of 70,000 people. None of you could do it. Don't try it. And watched as she got better and better and better and better and killed every fucking show that I don't know them dance moves. That girl she had it. You know what I'm saying? And people was talking about this little girl back in the day, about her. I mean, they were just talking so much shit about her when she was younger. And I'm just like, that girl will never have to think about money a day in her life. She is state Capricorn energy like her grandmama. But we love some Blue Ivy Carter. So, girl, I love watching you grow. Like, do your thing. I know this is just the beginning. And you were amazing on the Renaissance tour.
Absolutely. Wait a minute. Is Miss Tina Knowles a Capricorn too? Yes, of course she is. Why didn't I know that already? That's why I love it.
Exactly.
And yeah, Blue Ivy, it's such a double-edged sword. I imagine, being the child of celebrities of that level, because on the one hand, as you mentioned, she will never worry about money. She's never going to have like normal life experiences like us, but also like people have been trash talking her on the internet since she was a literal infant. Like, I can't imagine being 11 years old. I remember being 11 years old, and I can't imagine having actual public scrutiny on top of middle school scrutiny on top of the self scrutiny you have at that age. Like, the fact that she had the mental fortitude to do that tells you everything you need to know about her. And she's never going to give a fuck about any of the haters. And she shouldn't.
Because she's going to be like her mama, best revenge is your paper. Thank you.
Bye. Love it. So my next Capricorn, could kick it old school.
Okay. I knew you was going to save it for last. Go ahead.
Is the Queen Diane Keaton, who has been a boss bitch for 50 years. I mean, she's been in the, she has to have been in shit since the 70s for sure.
Yeah. I think Annie Hall came out in the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Father of the Bride. I mean, she's been in a million.
Baby Boom.
A million different movies. She's I think probably like most well known as a kind of can you be a fashion anti-icon? Like she's a fashion icon, but in a way that like her traditional style is so far removed from what we expect a female celebrity to look like that she's always kind of, this is like a chic, you know, but completely the opposite of the way we expect you to dress, like example. And I love that. And that's another, I think Capricorn women are just, they stand in
bitches.
They stand in masculine energy, even though Capricorn is a feminine side, but they have integrated the masculine into themselves. And Diane Keaton, like, just doesn't give a fuck. She just does whatever the fuck she wants. And
she's worn ties, suits, hat. I mean, like, always. Like, I think that's been her aesthetic, but it looks so good on her. And first, shout out to the First Wives Club, because I could watch that movie over and over and over and over and over again. But I totally agree. Diane Keaton is probably, I wish more people knew about her.
Shut this off and go watch First Wives Club, and then
oh my God,
watch Boondocks.
Right. You know, whatever. We have lists of things.
Yeah.
So my final person for Capricorn season, I have followed this amazing star for years. And before they became as big as they are, I remember this was, okay, when I had a Facebook. If you know me now, you know I don't even know what that is. But I believe this was in 2012. I think it might have been 2012, 2011. It is, if you've ever watched on YouTube The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl, if you've never seen it, highly recommend it. Because those of you that hopped on the Insecure bandwagon after that, you don't know shit. But it was initially from The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl on YouTube. It then launched into Insecure, which HBO picked up. So, you know, that's big money. And she has created Hooray Entertainment, radio, coffee houses, and a winery. Damn, gotta be Goldie already telling who it is. Yes, of course. I'm talking about the amazing Issa Rae, who is also responsible for Project Greenlight, which is helping up-and-coming filmmakers. And that was on HBO, a documentary special, and the movie came out. I can't think of what the movie is called, but I did watch it, the documentary. And she also is doing Rap Shit, which is actually like kind of loosely, I think, related like on the City Girls. But Issa Rae is and forever will always be the Capricorn icon. So iconic that this woman went to France and got married and nobody knew until after the fact. Like, nobody. And then everybody was like, oh, she got she got a husband and she married? Girl, I was like, man, big Capricorn gang, represent. Issa Rae will forever and always be a top entertainer, female icon forever. And she is fucking hilarious. There is a scene, I don't know if you guys ever seen this clip, but it was her and Zendaya, and I don't know what they were doing. But she says something to the effect of, don't you just wake up and look at these other girls and be like, damn, y'all could just never be me, or something like that. It's just like, so she's just quick with the like one line iconic. She mastered the art of rapping to yourself in the mirror. If you don't know, watch the show, you'll understand. But Gotta Be Goldie is absolutely right. Issa Rae, been an icon and forever. That's always going to be my number one Capricorn.
Love her. And I was today years old when I learned she was married. I did not know that. I never ever learned that fact till just now.
Exactly.
So
secrets.
Exactly. No, she's incredible. And I remember you telling me about Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl back in 2011. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll check that out. And like, then within a couple of years, just blew up. And yeah, she's just fucking great.
Listen, we don't see her man. I seen him once. His name is Lewis. He's a handsome black man. He had on like a red tuxedo jacket for their wedding. We ain't never gonna see him.
We don't need to.
No. We do too. You know what, Big Goldie, I might try and look that up and let y'all know.
Yeah.
Goldie asked what's her big three, so maybe folks, we might find out. I don't know. She's real, again, secretive, so it could be made up. We know she's
wouldn't be
Capricorn
surprised if there was a Scorpio and or a Leo placement in that big three.
Like Leo Moon, Scorpio rising,
maybe, or an Aquarius instead of the Scorpio.
Ooh, kind of like Ashton.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, my last Capricorn celeb. You know, I love her. I am a huge fan of hers. She is a rapper. She runs a nonprofit for mothers and children in the south side of Atlanta, where she's from, Clayton County. Sorry, no disrespect, different. And that would be Big Lotto. She's technically a Capricorn Sag cusp because her birthday is December 22nd. But she knew she was going to be a rapper when she was 10. And that is when she stopped giving a fuck about school, went because she legally had to, but was just rapping and was on, what was Jermaine Dupri's show?
Oh my God, The Next Best. Dang, I know that's the show. Yeah.
And she won and didn't sign the contract because she did not feel its terms were favorable enough, which they weren't, I'm sure. And she held out and signed a 7-figure deal and is now making money
everywhere,
hand over foot. And she's always dropping singles. I just saw her and Flo Milli. She hosted an all-female cypher recently with her and like 5 other lady rappers. They were all fucking fire. Like, if you hear her do freestyles, she's got bars, man. She's a great rapper because she's 23 and she's been doing it for almost 15 years already. Like, and I love her. I think she's super cute. I love that she owns up to having the surgeries. She doesn't give a fuck. She's like super talented and she's giving back to her community, and she could be invited into my marriage. My husband agrees. So,
because she might like you more than your husband, but that's quiet as a kid, girl.
Also never see her man.
No, I thought her man was
You don't need to.
I thought her man was well,
not with her. You don't see her.
You know what? Listen, I think that seems like to be the running thing. We don't need to see your man.
No,
we need to see you getting that bag.
That's right,
your man.
As she would say, her kids are gonna have their way. So,
and that's period. I love that shit. We all need to be thinking like that.
That's right.
We need to hope that our kids have a planet, but that's another day for another story. I know. I will get Cassie on herself like, Janae, don't start. But you know what I'm saying, girl?
I do. Before we hit this question,
okay,
let's run through for the people, because we have got some stuff going on in Capricorn season. Okay, we've got some planetary things happening. So today is the 17th.
Yes,
of December.
We will have the sun move into Capricorn on the 21st. Of course, that is also the winter solstice for those of you that you know. And then we will have the full moon, as Cassie said, in Cancer on the 26th of December, the day after Christmas. Venus is currently in Scorpio, but will move into Sagittarius on the 29th of December. Mars is in Sagittarius and will move into Capricorn in the new year on January 4th. Mercury will continue to retrograde in Capricorn until the 23rd of December, when it will go back into Sagittarius. And then it will not go direct until January the 1st back into, I think it'll go direct into Sagittarius. And then we have Jupiter, which has been retrograde in Taurus for a minute, finding its way to be direct before the end of the year as well on December 30th, but Uranus is still retrograde. Saturn and Neptune are still hanging out in Pisces, and Pluto's time is limited in motherfucking Capricorn. January 20th of next year, Pluto will leave Capricorn, and Aquarius is, we are up. So brace yourselves.
That's gonna be a big day. I think that it's if that's not our show day, it is. Okay. Or the day after.
The day after, and the sun will also be moving to Aquarius, and then
Yes.
And we do not have the new moon in Capricorn until January 11th. So we're continuing to run with this theme of the new moons being closer towards the mid to end of the season rather than beginning of the season. So, you know, we plan accordingly. I don't know what else to say.
Take it slow, Capricorn season, because
Yeah.
nothing's about to happen fast. And
No.
Aquarius season's going to be lit. So just enjoy.
Just you wait.
Yeah.
We already know. This is why I like Capricorn season, because I can mellow for the next, you know, before I come into my fullness, and y'all ain't gonna be ready. So, what's our question today?
All right. So once again, we're doing a big 3 breakdown. This one came to us from email. So we have Brianna. Brianna questions, you know, what's Capricorn season going to be like for her as a Capricorn sun, Cancer moon, Capricorn rising. Right?
I think highly emotional.
Yeah.
I think highly emotional and introspective. That's that is very woo baby is right. That is very polarizing energy. And for a Capricorn sun to have a Cancer moon, and Cassie with her own Cancer moon is just like, ooh, how's she doing that? We don't know. We don't know. Through one day at a time in prayer. What do you think, Cassie?
I mean, shit. Like, I survive having a Cancer moon because I am a chronically unserious person. But somebody who is both a Capricorn sun and a Capricorn rising is probably trapped thinking they're serious. And so then they have like, why am I crying at this, you know, cat video or whatever? Like, it's because you got feelings, girl. No, I think you know, obviously I have personally a lot of interest in that sister sign tension, Cancer and Capricorn. Based on my own chart, I have a lot of Cancer placements, but I've got a couple prominent Capricorn ones too. So I have to reconcile some of that energy within myself too. And all I would say is, you know, the Cancer moon placement is powerful. You know, the moon is in dominion in Cancer because that is the sign that it rules. So your emotions and your intuition are powerful, and they're probably right, and allow them to have space in you and in your brain, because Capricorns, they want to rationalize things and they want to be able to don't call me.
I was waiting for you to say
sorry. And they have a great ability to you know, synthesize information, to look at things and understand them and break them down in logical ways. But also, it's important for all Capricorns to acknowledge that they are also emotional creatures, and especially for her, because her emotions are a much bigger and more powerful part of her personality than she might want to acknowledge. So, but take it slow. Expect that Christmas is maybe will bring up some stuff. And, you know, us Cardinal sign people are going to be going through some transformation in the next year and a half, because we've got the Aries and Libra nodes. So that is, you know, it's going to most strongly affect people with prominent Aries and Libra placements, but those of us with a lot of Cancer and Capricorn placements are not going to be exempt from that. Also, I've got 9 Cardinal sign placements in my chart, you guys. I can't wait to find out.
Ooh, well, I will be supporting you because, you know, fixed energy already went through it.
I know,
even
right?
though
That's right.
I'm that Cancer rising and, you know, Aries moon, so I guess I'll be feeling that too.
You're not going to be exempt.
I know.
But all of this transformation is, you know, for a purpose, and integrating those parts of yourself that seem like they are in opposition will benefit you.
Period.
Mhm.
I mean, that's that. And on that note, we always want to thank you guys for joining us. If you ever want to ask us any questions, the zodiacchatline@gmail.com is there for you to use. And you can always drop messages here or on the TikTok if you so are inclined. But I feel like if you're not, whatever, we'll find you anyways. And with that said, for the last and final tarot card of the year, I present to you the animal spirit, the unknown wild animal spirit. Kim Krans, you know you are a girl. We love it. We love
Ashton's a Kim Krans stan too.
Yay! Yes, we love some Kim Krans. I've actually been using these for a couple of my Sagittarius friends for their birthday, and they have been some interesting messages being pulled. So, Cassie, you let me know when you're ready.
All right, I'm feeling it. Go. Oh,
We already know this is. So in case you are not familiar with this particular tarot deck, it is or oracle deck, I guess we would call it more. It is divided into the elements. And so each of the animals represents either air, fire, water, earth, and also spirit. There are some of those hidden in there. So Cassie picked oyster, and oyster is a water element. So we have patient secret keeper, hiding inner treasures. The focus and determination of the oyster is unmatched. Anything an oyster personality puts their mind to, they achieve with grace and charm. The only problem is, oyster types often take their inner gifts for granted. They become shy or doubtful, and this can lead to withdrawing or protecting their deepest desires in life's work. When the oyster card appears, it's important to reveal your inner treasures. What is it you've been hesitant to share? The world is waiting to see. When in balance, feels blessed, generous, masterful. When out of balance, reluctant, gripping, clams up. To bring into balance, share something.
oh,
I don't know if the Capricorns wanted to hear that, but talk about Cancer energy. But go ahead.
Yeah, right. But it's a great reminder as we are in this reflective season, this season that should be slower and less quote unquote productive, that we can still let it out, you know, and maybe as we're working with something and we start noodling at it and we think, this is kind of cool, I'm kind of enjoying this. Once you hit that point with yourself, like, it's like acknowledge that and put it out there, because, you know, I think this is also our 2-year anniversary, you know, just about of the Zodiac Chatline. And I think about that with this project where it's like, you know, we're not getting tens of thousands of eyeballs on this, but it is pleasing to our souls to do it. And we love connecting with you guys who join us for these chats, and we'll continue to share it because it's in our hearts to share it. So
it has we have said this and we've talked, and I've told you, this has been a very creatively therapeutic for me. And just, I don't really share much in general, but on here, you guys probably know more than most people. But I don't give a fuck, because you know what, I think I was meant to be in this world to share my light and my experiences. And so, you know, I am so thankful for everybody that continues to support us. Gotta be Goldie, stay in the chat and keeping it lit just like everybody else. Once again, we are still in Sagittarius season, so I do want to give a shout out again to Coral. Whose birthday was last week, and we celebrated her. So Coral, we love you. Thank you again for always being a part of this. Ashton and Jen, you guys were amazing Capricorn Queens. We stan you guys. Folks, we want, oh, look at her. I feel valued. Thanks, Jen. So with that said, we will see you sooner than you think. But we won't tell you why. And then we will see you for sure for Aquarius season, because duh. But in the meantime, y'all, really enjoy yourselves this holiday season, and reflect on what is valuable to you and what works for you. And feelings are going to be out there and for everything. And as we know, the world is in front of us, happening in ways that we could have never imagined. And I don't think I could have, in all of my 21 years of life, could have imagined life being don't be laughing. They don't know. I could have never imagined the world looking like this and experiencing certain things. And so, go in with your emotions, allow them to happen. Yes, coming from Aquarius, I'm saying it because I know it's real and it should be true. So whatever. But don't let anybody fuck you up. If they got you fucked up, let them know where they got you fucked up at, because Capricorn will cut you off. That's what Ashton said.
Yep.
But Cassie, I love you, girl. Never want to do this without you. Y'all, it's all love, and we see you next time. Because what, Cassie?
Peace.